Okay, a little intro here for these problems. They're basically 20 problems. The first 10 are linear equations. So questions 1 to 10 are to do with linear equations, word problems in linear equations. And then questions 11 to 20 are the simultaneous equations. Basically, there isn't a lot to say in this introduction because you just read in the information. All the information will be given in a question. So if, like, for example, it says a perimeter of a rectangle, the best thing to do is draw a picture. And if it says one side is, say, like 10 units longer than the other, so that side you label X, the shorter side, and then this would be 10 units longer, like so. On the other hand, if you want to use a different symbol like Y, say, and you labeled the longer side, because you know this is 10 centimeters longer than the other side, the shorter side, this would be Y minus 10. And then you would be told something about the perimeter, so you'd add them all up. So just give a label and interpret the information. That's all you've got to do here. So that's like perimeters. And then you've got perimeters of rectangles, of course. And then you'll have questions on like money and coins. So if you have so many coins, a coin problem, so many 50p's or and so many 10 pences, then you'd let X be the number of one of the coins, like the 50p's, say, and Y be the number of 10 pences. And then you'd write down the equation interpreting the sentence that you're given. You'd say so many 50p's and so many of these. So if you had 23 coins in total, you'd be able to write X plus Y as 23. But if you were told that they add up to £100, then you'd have there's 50p and there's X numbers of 50p's, and then there's Y numbers of 10p's, and they add up to £100. Well, you'd have to put 100, but 2 zeros because you're working in pennies. So it's 10,000 pence. So because you're working in pennies, so be careful with the units as well, of course. So that's all you've got to do is just interpret problems. Miles per hour, questions on distance and velocity. The formula for velocity is v equals d over t. And if we move the t up, t will equal d over v. There's the other way to write that. Move the v down, and the other way, distance is velocity times time. So generally, you can sometimes use variations of this for velocity and distance and time. Okay, so there's problems like that as well. But there's nothing more to say really than just read the problem and try and interpret all the information you've got, labeling the quantities that are mentioned in the question with symbols X or Y or A or B or whatever. Okay, that's all the best for this section. The same goes for the simultaneous. The same principles apply for simultaneous equations, but you'll end up with 2 equations and 2 unknowns for these. And this one you'll generally get 1 equation and 1 unknown for linear equations. All the best then, guys, with this section. I hope you get on okay with that. Cheers.